So hello and welcome to Active Ideas. This is a video about the new Coros Vertix 2S and it's 10 things that you need to know about this watch. Now, my history of Coros, I've now tested the Pace, I've tested the Apex 2 Pro, which is one of my favorite watches by Coros, and I've also tested the older Vertix 2, which I actually use for the ultramarathon spine race, which is 268 crazy miles. So I've used the Coros platform now for a couple of years now and I'm very comfortable with it. And some of my favorite things, having bought the Apex 2 Pro and the Vertix 2 with my own money, one of my favorite features with Coros is that navigation feature. It's so powerful and it really shone that accuracy of the GPS. When I was doing that 268 mile spine race, ultramarathon, one of the most brutal races you can do, I finished it thanks genuinely to Coros because my Garmin did stop working in terms of the GPS during that race. So that was when I really started to appreciate and love what Coros was capable of. And what's really kind of piqued my ear up with this new watch is that they've actually claimed to have improved the GPS performance because of the construction of the watch and also the new optimized algorithms that they've got going on. So really excited to test that for you guys. Now, to train for these crazy events, I do like to cross train, and the way I do that is I do like to do bouldering, so that's rock climbing, and this new watch does come with the bouldering activity, so lots of you guys are going to love that. But also it comes with a new heart rate sensor. I always thought that the Coros platform had a great heart rate sensor. I know quite a few reviewers weren't too impressed with the last generation of the heart rate sensor. Me myself, it worked great. The one time I did see it kind of exposed when I was doing high intensity, but also when I was doing the spine racing using my hiking poles to kind of like run up mountains and stuff, the heart rate was going wild. So I'm really excited to test this new heart rate sensor. It's boasting new 5 LEDs and 4 photo detector sensors, but I'll be using this in the real world and report back to you guys how good that really is. But yeah, really excited to see that it's been improved from the last generation. Just to dive into the packaging, it's coming with all the documentation that you'd expect. It's coming with the charger so you can charge it. They are boasting a recycled material now. Battery inside the new Coros is exactly the same as the old Vertix 2 in terms of its milliamps. It's 680. So interestingly, there's some odd things going on with battery life, but stay tuned in the video for me to kind of dive a bit deeper into that. And lastly, I just wanted to finish with, it's a little bit thicker than the older Vertix 2, but we're talking like 0.3 millimeters, so something you won't notice, and it's 1 gram less heavy, so that's something you also won't notice. But what's really cool is that you can actually get this watch now with a nylon band. So I think number one things that you need to know is about the colorway. So I wasn't a massive fan of the Vertix 2 because you had the obsidian color and also the lava color, and they just weren't too stylish, they weren't too elegant. But these new Vertix 2S's, I really do like this design theme that they're going for, the design theme of Earth, of space, of moon. It's really cool and I really do like the colorway. Number two things you need to know, so they have improved the heart rate sensor. You're getting 5 LEDs and 4 photo detector sensors to improve that heart rate accuracy, and again, I will be diving into that later on the channel. We do have a watch coming, but as I said, one weakness was when I was doing the spine race and running up the mountains with my Mountain King running poles, I could see just that heart rate going wild. So I think it'll be very interesting to see if it's been improved enough that you can use like hiking poles. That'd be great for people who like to ski and also like to get that optical heart rate. And also I've been training, doing high rocks and high intensity hit training, circuit training. To see that improvement in accuracy there is a massive thing for me personally. So number 3 things that you need to know is the GPS accuracy. And again, that spine race ultramarathon, for that race, which is 268 miles across the Pennine Way, running / hiking from Edale all the way over to Scotland, Kirkyetham. I had the Garmin Fenix 7 Pro on one wrist and the Coros Vertix 2 on another, fully expecting after a decade of using Garmin to rely on the Garmin and test out the Coros. But what happened on that race is the Garmin every single day would lose GPS acquisition. It just stopped speaking to the satellites. It would plot me a million miles off the map, take me off cliffs. It was wild. And I've seen it happen with quite a few Garmins now as well, which is a bit worrying. Reviewers, get on this, test out what's happening there. Is it still happening? I don't know. But the Coros Vertix 2, which by the way, I did not charge once for that whole 5-day ultramarathon, was perfectly accurate the whole time. So I ended up kind of palming off the Garmin and just fully relying on the Coros Vertix 2 to get me to the end of that race. And if it wasn't for Coros, you know, I was in a bad way. There's lots of sleep deprivation, fatigue, pain, and emotional pain as well. Coros did kind of guide the way for me in that race. And number 4 things that you need to know, so we get to the interesting part, the battery life. Now, it does have the same battery inside as the Vertix 2. It's 680 milliamps, which in theory means you should get the same battery life, but Coros are actually quoting less battery life compared to the old model. So what does that equate to in the real world? So you're going to get 118 hours of GPS only battery performance and also 73 hours of all systems on. Daily use, so kind of like watch mode, you're going to get around 48 days of battery life, with 36 days if you're using it for like sleep tracking in that 24/7 tracking mode. And what's very interesting, so if you do want to see a comparison to the Suunto Vertical, that's the watch that I have on my left wrist here, then stay tuned, I've got that coming. Obviously with the Suunto Vertical, very similar price. You can get a cheaper model that will be less battery life, it appears, but you can opt for the solar model, so that's what I've got on my wrist at the moment, where you can get solar charging on the Suunto. So there definitely are things to consider when you're looking at, you know, the Garmin, the Suunto, Coros, and which watch is best for you. Now, number 5 things that you need to know about the Coros is its durability. And I do think that the durability on the Coros is something to rave from the rooftops by. Again, I did use the Vertix 2 for the spine race, where I was just crashing it against walls, falling over on stones and boulders, just absolutely everything that I could have smashed that watch into, I did on that race, because I was so tired and fatigued. And again, I do buy and sell a lot of my watches. So that watch I'd bought, I was hoping to sell it on eBay. When I looked at it at the end of the race, after all of it, I was a bit scared to actually examine it. But there was not a mark on the watch strap, not a mark on the bezel, which shocked me because that's what took the most beating during that race, and not a mark on the sapphire display. So props up to Coros for how durable their watches are. I do think it's very impressive. And one thing, if you use really diving deep into those specs, you do get minus 30 degree performance up to plus 50 degrees performance. So anyone who's into kind of cold and hot therapy, you're into your ice baths and saunas, I know I personally am, that's a massive factor, that you've got this watch that actually will be able to handle those kind of climates. And there's many watches out there that are adventure watches that can't go as low as minus 30 degrees Celsius and up to 50 degrees Celsius, and they actually are comfortable saying, look, you can store this watch at 60 degrees Celsius if you want. So yeah, I'm sure hopping into the sauna for 5 minutes, which I will test, will be fine with this watch. Lastly, for divers, unfortunately this is not a diving watch. It is waterproof down to 100 meters, so it's got an atmosphere rating of 10, but you should not go diving with this watch according to Coros's stats. So number 6 things that you need to know about the Coros Vertix 2S is the navigation mode, and we're diving into the meat of it now. So this new watch will be capable of full offline maps, back to start features, deviate from course alerts, all the good things. But you guys don't care about that. In the real world, how does this work? And one use case that I have to give Coros credit for is when I went to Barbados with the family, a little holiday, which is a Caribbean island. I went to download the maps on Suunto, and the maps weren't actually there. It was a country that I had no geographical awareness of, so I did want maps to keep me safe. I then went onto my Garmin Fenix 7 Pros and tried to use maps on that. It showed one road in this whole country. It only knew about one road, and the rest of the maps was blank. And then to my surprise, Coros, my saviour, had all the maps, trails, the back streets, the ocean, the beaches, all the terrain. It was all on the watch, and I didn't have to download anything. It was all just there and ready to go. So when it came to navigating on my holiday, when I'd flown to a different country, it was all Coros for me, because it was the only watch that actually had the maps on, which was so impressive. So props up to Coros for having great navigational features. I think that if you are a genuine adventurer, maybe you're collecting UTMB stones because you're an ultra runner flying across the world, doing all that crazy stuff to get your stones, or you are a rock climber looking to do projects in different countries, having a watch like Coros is great, because it's a watch that you can put on, fly to your different destination or drive to your destination, and not have to worry about, are my maps actually going to be on the watch? It's all there for you, and it works great. And again, the accuracy was fantastic for me on one of the hardest races that I've ever done for me personally. So number 7 things that you need to know is the pricing. So this is coming in at $699 USD, and for you UK folk, it's going to be £599. The pricing seems good. For example, the Suunto Vertical Solar, which also has incredible battery life, is also £599. So they're the exact same price. That's pretty cool. So number 8 things that you need to know is the weight of the watch. The watch is coming in at 61 grams, which is really cool. So that means if you add the nylon band to it, it's only going to be 70 grams. And if you add the silicone band, it's only going to be 87 grams. So yeah, a lot of you guys would have bought the Vertix 2 with the silicone band. And if you do opt for the nylon this time, you're roughly going to be saving about 20 grams of weight. So it will feel like a massive kind of drop in weight on that wrist. And for me personally, who did struggle a little bit with that weight of the Vertix 2, the older generation, I'll be opting for the nylon strap up every single time. Also, to add to the weight as well, so the Suuntos that I've been testing, they're coming with 22mm bands, which feels like quite right for my wrists. The Coros is coming with 26mm, so if you're out there and you actually prefer a thicker strap, going for the Coros is going to be a better option for you. Some benign things that you need to know: the comfort of this watch. So if you do have smaller wrists like me, the comfort of the older Vertix 2 was a little bit of an issue, especially after wearing it for 5 days straight, doing the spine race, swinging my arms with those hiking poles up and down mountains. I did get some fatigue and some kind of cuts and bruises on my wrist. So yeah, having that option to get the nylon and the silicone band is fantastic, and I do think that's going to massively change the comfort of the watch. And again, if you do want to see my Vertix 2 review, just hop on my channel because it's all there for you to jump into. And number 10 things that I think you need to know is the updates. So Coros have a loyal fan base, and there's a reason why, and it's because they are willing to update their hardware with the software that it can support. The most notable updates recently have been the screen mirroring. I think that's really cool. Also the cycling metrics, so if you're into cycling and want to see what your fitness is, again, a fantastic addition. And obviously the optimizations of GPS, which is already fantastic anyway, so to see that they further improved that is just fantastic. It's not just good for the consumers but also the environment. If you can make these watches last 6 months longer or a couple years longer because of those updates, that's something that I think a lot of especially ultra runners who are very conscious about the environment, climbers as well, will get behind fully. Okay, so to sum this up, I do think the colorway is a massive update. For me personally, wasn't a massive fan of obsidian and lava, but yeah, having the earth and the moon and the space is really cool. I do like that they're offering now the nylon band that you can buy with the watch, and that if you opt for that option, because it weighs 1 gram less, the actual body weight of the watch, you are going to get a 20 gram weight saving in total with the combination of the watch and the nylon band. So that for me is a massive incentive. Obviously, I massively welcome the GPS upgrade. That's wicked. It was already a fantastic performer, and when the Apex 2 came out and the Apex 2 Pro, not many reviewers seemed that impressed with the heart rate sensor. So yeah, I'll be diving fully into the heart rate tracking. It's good to see the Coros have improved the heart rate sensor on the Vertix 2S, and I'll be going into everything: high rocks, ice baths, sauna, ultra running with leggy poles, absolutely everything I'll be diving into and getting back to you guys and letting you know if it's worth the upgrade, because it is really, of the very few things, like one of those outstanding features which separates the Vertix 2S from the Vertix 2. And lastly, it does seem that the clear competition is obviously the Suunto Vertical and the Garmin Fenix. So if you're interested in those comparisons, stay tuned on the channel. I'll be going into all of that and reporting back. If you have any questions, leave them in the description down below, and peace out. So thanks for watching. You know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe if you can. My slogan: dreams are a step away. And remember, show compassion, show esteem, and have fun out there. Peace out.